Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again. Hey, what's going on? Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Welcome to episode 66 of Outside the Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. Before we get to the OTC Player of the Week, we got to thank the boys at Wrestling with the Truth podcast for giving us a shout out on their show this past week. If any of our listeners are into wrestling at all, I highly recommend you checking out BC Hunter and Jay Myers, wherever you listen to us at. They cover a lot of topics in the world of professional wrestling, along with some great countdown episodes, like the best and worst theme songs of all time, for example, which is always a lot of fun. Again, that's Wrestling with the Truth podcast. Check it out. On to this week's OTC Player of the Week, and we're heading to our own league here at home as Nova Scotia Canada Games team member Brody Fraser takes home the weekly honors. Brody set the Shooters Bar and Grill Fast Pitch League record for wins, innings pitched, and strikeouts in a season this past week as our regular season play wrapped up. That's a pretty big feat, especially, only being 17 years of age. You're going to hear Hopey and I talk about it off the top here in a couple minutes in a bit more detail, but again, great job, Brode. On to this week's guest, and we sat down and chatted with former Aussie Steeler and current New York Gremlin, Aussie native Zenon Winters. Zenon has had a decorated career to date as he's won 4 ISC World Titles, 6 Australian National Titles, been named to 4 ISC All World Teams, a 2-time ASA MVP, and a 2009 ISF World Title with the Aussie Steelers, just to name a few. We're going to talk to Zenon about getting a start in the game down under, his time with the Australian junior team, which resulted in a world championship in 2001, his time on the ISC circuit playing with and against a number of Hall of Famers, and of course the 2009 ISF World Title win, and much, much more. Zenon was a pleasure to chat with, and Hopey and I were so glad he was able to take the time and come on and talk about his career. So as usual, grab that drink, sit back, relax, cause here we go.
I got the world in my palm, lights, camera, action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, lights, camera, action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes.
What's up?
Hi, Hopey.
How are you, Dickie?
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
What's wrong?
Got beat out in playoffs last night.
Yeah.
Kind of sucked. And the one thing that really sucked is I felt really good pitching last night. Like it was one of those, like warming up, you have those, like, I was
you just had that feeling.
Like it felt like last night I had more snap on the ball than I did like in a long time.
For sure.
And it's funny because 2 weeks ago, the Monday we got back after Easter Canadians, we played Halifax, and I felt like shit warming up. Yeah. And I went out and threw a one-hitter against them and shut them out.
I know. I remember that very well.
It's weird how that thing, like...
It's funny. I said to you guys after the game, I was doing the bases in that first game where, unfortunately, you guys lost in extra innings, but I was at around the shortstop when there was a runner on second international rule with 2 outs, and Kinger was up, and I was like, pop it up, pop it up, pop it up. And then you fucking pinned him.
He leaned into that.
Whatever.
Kinger, if you're listening, I know you leaned into that one.
And then you ran into the top of the order, and the rest is history. But every time they were up, I was like, pop it up, pop it up, pop it up. Secretly hoping for you. Yeah. And if they had called me on a check swing, like, hey, did he go? I'd be like, fucking right, he did.
Man, I gave up 2 grand slams with 3-2 counts with 2 outs.
Yeah. walk-off grand slam.
Man, I hate pitching.
He popped it up over the fence.
Over the fence.
Yeah. Good effort, though. You guys hit the ball. It was good.
Put up 10 runs for the first time all year.
Yeah, you should never lose when you score 10 runs.
I gave up 13.
Yeah. As I said, you guys were out of the game, except you pinned Kinger, and he leaned into it.
Yeah.
So you think.
I do.
Anyway, playoffs are going to be good. Halifax will now face Canada Games, which will start next week, or
Tuesday,
according to this podcast.
Well, starting tomorrow.
I mean, yes.
Yeah. So.
And Hobie and Brookfield, that'll be a good tilt
That's
too.
Going to be good, really good.
Yeah, as long as all the Hobie players show up, hopefully. Yeah.
Hey, Hobie guys, show up,
please, for the love of God.
Anyway, speaking about the Canada Games team,
scary incident on the weekend.
Unreal. Besides I wasn't there the night that you got hit.
Right.
The one game I missed all year, and I wasn't there.
Yep.
But Brody Frazier took a line drive off the face, and it was one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life.
Myself as well.
Yeah.
I was scared to death for him when he bellowed out that he was in pain.
Yeah,
that's what scared me the most.
Yeah,
and the fact that line drive was one of the hardest hit balls I've seen this year, and it landed in the pitcher circle after it hit him.
Yeah.
So that got him flush.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Hats off to him having a giant head, though, because as his dad would say, if his head had been normal size, it would have missed him and probably been a home run. But, hats off to Brody and his family, of course, because Brody came out unscathed. He was bruised.
Yeah. Had the stitchings from the ball in the side of his face.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And he'll be back. The kid's a trooper, man. He's a machine, 17 years old.
And prior to us talking, I touched on the intro, OTC Player of the Week.
Yeah,
Brody Frazier.
Well deserved.
Man, 17 years old in our league and set the record for wins, strikeouts, and innings pitched. I mean, there's a lot of good hitters in our league.
Yeah, he's flat out good, man. Yeah, he is flat out good. 100%. And the best thing about him, I personally think, is he loves it.
Yes,
he loves it. Yeah, he's gonna be a beauty for the Mastodons.
Oh man, it's good,
and it won't be too far down the road, to be honest.
Yeah, I just can't wait. I mean, I think I probably said it on here before when we talked about Brody before.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see him, especially as a hitter.
Yes,
in his mid-20s.
Yeah, I know.
It's gonna be.
He'll be sick.
Yeah. So, and
for all those kids out there or anybody listening that you want to get good and you want to get better, you have to work on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's the prime example of just putting in the time, putting in the effort constantly. Like we've talked to many of the noofs and they said how they work out. I remember Shane saying, he's moved up to Labrador and he hits a ball off a tee. And I remember Sandy telling us years ago, he would hit 50 balls off a tee every day. Yeah. Just because he wanted to get better. And that's who Brody is. Yeah. Brody pitches in his basement in the wintertime. I mean, and again, great family because his dad, gives them that opportunity and that drive.
Yeah. For sure.
And Frazier, don't take this to heart because you are a good guy, but just that's enough.
Yeah.
You're becoming Lolly right now.
Oh, Lolly.
No. But anyway, hats off to Brody.
Absolutely.
And congrats on the OTC Player of the Week.
100%.
I hope to get there someday.
Maybe.
Once I get my bionic knee, maybe.
Anyway, we got a great guest coming up today.
Yeah.
Zenon Winters. He's still stuck in Green Bay.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
But actually, I saw on social media this past weekend, he got to go to the Ryder Cup. He was at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
I can't wait to ask him what that was like.
Stuck in Green Bay, but I got to go to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. So yeah, they had a pretty successful season with the Gremlins, and it's unfortunate that he's still stuck here. He definitely probably wants to get home and see his family.
I would think.
And we'll find out all the ins and outs and, talk about he's had a fantastic career.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He's been all over the map. And I mean, he's been the head coach of the Indonesia national team.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. So was it men's or women's? Did you notice that?
Men's.
It was the men's team. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Cause I come across an article where he said he didn't want to face Australia because he didn't think that they were up to par yet. So,
I think he's probably right.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Australia's pretty good.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to Zenon and see what it's all about.
All right, my friend.
All right.
Yo.
All right, here we go. Zenon, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks very much for having me. Can't wait.
What's going on out in Green Bay today?
To be honest, it's been a good day actually. I just got some good news on the way home from golf. Firstly, I played golf with Ryan Sinclair, young Aussie softball player who's over here at the moment, and then just got a phone call from Delta Airlines on the way, and they said I can move my flight from the 5th of October until the 3rd of October. So Sunday morning, I'm flying home.
Oh,
nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's you must be anxious to get back home.
Yeah. It's been a long summer, obviously. It's been good being over here and seeing friends, but obviously missing the kids and want to get back and see them as quick as I can.
Yeah, no doubt. So are you living in Indonesia full time, or is just periods of time and you're back in Australia too?
Well, I've been back in Australia since March this year, just to see the kids more than anything.
Right.
Still got the businesses in Indonesia, so hoping to get back there at some stage. I'm just waiting on the immigration, Australian borders, and see what they have to say.
Right.
But based in Indonesia still, basically.
Okay, right on. How old's the kids?
I've got an 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl.
Ah, nice. Are they into any sports?
My daughter's a runner. She's into running, and then my little guy, he's a crusty demon, so he's on the motorbikes and plays rugby league.
Oh,
nice.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No bones to be broken there, what?
Yeah.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, he's already had his good falls. He's snapped his arm once already, so.
Oh.
He got back up. He's gone again. So
there you go. That's what you want.
That's the main thing right there.
Yeah.
So when in Indonesia, I think I saw on your social media there, are you like a training facility, is it?
Yeah, so I'm partnered up with actually the largest franchise in the world. It's called F45. It's a functional training gym. And I was lucky enough to get in early over there. And we've got 3 locations over there at the moment.
Right on. How'd you get involved with that?
I've owned gyms basically now since I was 21. So in Australia, and then I sold them in Australia when I took the job over in Indonesia. And then when I needed the job, and I thought, I'll get back into the industry. And it's quite a challenge, but it's a good opening. And unfortunately, Asia is probably 10 to 15 years behind the Western world in fitness and health and fitness.
Oh, wow.
It's a growing market over there. It's really exciting, actually.
Right on.
We actually have an F45 in Halifax.
Do we really?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yep.
Oh, wow.
100%.
Never knew that. Wow.
There you go. That's why you invite me to this podcast.
Perfect.
Another thing I want to touch on before we get to quick pitches here. I saw you were at the Ryder Cup this past weekend.
Yeah, I went down there on Sunday. It was 11 o'clock Saturday night. So we were having a chat, and I managed to score some pretty cool tickets.
That's insane.
Yeah, we got VIP tickets, which was, and then we got to top it off. Then when we got there, they actually gave us 2 free tickets to be in the VIP on the first tee, which was even
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't only get tickets.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was, I would have just been happy with the grounds tickets, to be honest, just to experience it. But it was pretty special to get, especially on the first tee, seeing these guys up close and personal, and some of my idols like Phil Mickelson, and even watching the new guys like Bryson DeChambeau and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hit the ball a long way. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So what's it like to see them like actually smash the ball in person?
Well, to be really honest, all I could see was their swing. I couldn't see the ball ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but sitting around the greens and watching them approach and watching you can probably watch more like from like 150 yards out. That's when you can really see their ball and how they're fading it into the greens or drawing it. Like they'd hit the ball over the water and bring it back into greens and stuff like that. And it was pretty cool. Like, I try to do that all the time, but my ball just doesn't come back from the water.
No.
Over the water.
I was going to say, it's really unfair how well they can hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or put that spin on it or what other cheaters.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was, and just watching how sort of calm they are, like it's, they had hundreds of thousands of people watching them, and they were just sort of just calm, relaxed, having fun.
Actually, you say that they had a heart rate monitor on some of them. They were showing on NBC Golf when you were watching.
Oh, really?
And they would show like 87 beats per minute, and then they would tee off 87 beats per minute. Fans are going crazy, 87 beats per minute. And then when the ball went in the air type thing, their heart rate started to rise a little bit. Wow. They were so calm on the tee box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'd be like 222 beats per minute, chugging a beer, hitting in the water.
I shoot. If there's somebody like when you're approaching the clubhouse and there's like a couple people standing around, I'm like, oh, I'm totally tough in this one.
Just a couple old people.
I never like the first tee off.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, little thing we'd like to start the podcast off here with Zenon. It's quick pitches. I'm gonna throw out some questions to you, and you answer them as best you can, man.
Sure, that sounds good.
All right. First one. If you could visit one place on Earth you haven't yet, where is it?
Maldives.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Where's that?
Where I don't even exactly know where it is. It's an island. It's meant to be one of the nicest islands in the world.
Oh, right. Yeah. I know exactly where you mean. Yeah.
I think you guys might call it Maldives.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Maldives. Yeah. Not one of the new ones on the Canary Islands.
No,
just got made last week or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's correct.
Yeah.
Next one, toughest pitcher you faced in your career.
Oh, toughest pitcher I've faced in my career. I'm going to say Sean Cleary.
Yeah,
that's not a bad name.
I'm sure there's a lot of batters out there that would say the same thing.
Yeah. He's rise ball and his changeup. He's got my number, Sean. Yeah.
Right on. If you had the chance to play any golf course in the world, what is it?
Pebble Beach.
Pebble Beach.
Yeah. I've always wanted to play Pebble Beach. I had an opportunity and missed it once with one of my friends from Calgary and years ago. And I always wanted to play Pebble Beach.
Right on. Favorite ISC facility?
Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Any reason why?
I've been living in the dugout for the last 6 months.
It's a fun town. It's the crowd is it's sort of like playing in like Kimberley, or it's very similar. They're knowledgeable fans and they respect the game, and it's always everyone's on top of each other. Good grandstands. It's fun. And just the location, I like Wisconsin. They all know softball pretty well.
Right on.
Nice.
Craziest thing you've ever seen happen in your playing career?
I was playing in I think it was a 2018 semi-final against Circle Tap, and I saw a duck came onto the field. And I was watching Van Matiosian chase this duck around the field to get the duck off. It was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
That would be quite a sight.
Yeah.
Next one, I actually got this one on the way home from work today. I was listening to Hilly and Lolly's podcast, and I got this question based on that podcast. Best beer tent team you've played on?
There's no one better. The Farm Tavern.
I actually Hilly was saying that too.
Yeah, there's that team. Rod Peterson, as we'll probably get into him a little bit later, but if you were not, if you couldn't hold yourself in the beer tent, you didn't play on the Farm Tavern.
Right, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great team to play right there.
His motto was, if you don't drink, I don't trust you.
Jeez. He trust the hell out of you, Randy.
I guess he would. Shit. All right. Best thing about growing up in Australia?
The lifestyle, the weather. I grew up in a small country town, Rockhampton, which was a lot of fun. I got the opportunity to play many sports. It's we've got the best of both worlds. Our winters are pretty much like a summer over in North America, especially where I live in Brisbane. But the opportunity to really play sport, and obviously sport was a big part of, and still is a big part of my life. But that was Australia. I got the beaches, but I also got to play everything I wanted to.
Excellent. Yeah. Last one. I asked, I touched on this with Stacey Porter and Kaya Parnaby.
Yep.
How good is a Vegemite sandwich?
Well, Vegemite sandwich, they grow on you. They have to grow on you.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, as a kid, I didn't really love Vegemite, but now I love it. It's the salty taste of the Vegemite, but yeah, I still crave Vegemite sandwiches all the time.
Okay. Kaya, I talked to Kaya last week and she said the same thing. She was like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I spoke to her last week too. She's a great girl.
Actually, yes. Actually, when we were done doing the podcast, I was talking to her after it and she's like, yeah, I was talking to Zenon and I was like, I said, we're interviewing him next week. So she had some good things to say about you.
Yeah, she's helped me a lot actually, because I was looking at potentially going over and finishing the end of the season in Japan. But she said she's stuck, and I said I'm not willing to be stuck any longer. I need to get home to the kids.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Anyway, with every guest, we like to ask them when and where you got your start in the game.
Yeah, I actually was. I rode BMX as a kid, and I fell off my push bike, and I started in Rockhampton. A little 60,000 people in the town, and the way it sort of started was they bandaged my leg up where I hurt my leg when I come off my push bike, and they only had 8 players. And at the time I was playing cricket, and I was a wicket keeper, and they had this big kid. His name was Luke Waters. And basically, no one could catch to him, and I said, "I'll have a go." And it was my first ever game. I caught my first game, and from then I played. I think the team was Kermit's, and then and then I obviously after I was 5 turning 6, and small town back then you can ride around wherever you want to, and then I went from there into a team called Bustin' Babes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite the names.
I played, I think I was 6 years old, and I was under 14s was the lowest I went back then. So I had a few years in under 14, or U14, yeah.
Right on.
But yeah, Rockhampton, it's always good to get back there. It's a growing softball association. It's one of the best in where I live now. It's really the country. It's really good. Yeah, it's great to see. And they've actually produced a lot of Australian athletes now out of there. So it's really good. And back then it was sort of myself and another girl called Kylie Cronk, and now there's many. Even I think the last captain actually came out of there in the junior team. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Now, when you say a wicket keeper in cricket, what's that?
Yeah, we do not understand what cricket is whatsoever. I thought you're like, oh man, that guy's wicked.
Yeah, the guy that stands behind the stumps. So the bowler bowls it, the batsman misses it. Yeah, the guy who stands behind, he's called a wicket keeper. Yeah. So.
Okay, so that's where
exactly like a catcher.
The catcher, yeah. Okay.
I thought your head was kind of swollen up. I'm a wicket keeper.
Definitely not.
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, I've seen cricket on TV a ton, but as far as the rules go, I have no clue on how the game is played or anything.
No, I have no clue either. Yeah. But
it's pretty big in Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, cricket and rugby league. Cricket, rugby league, rugby union. That's probably the 3 biggest sports. Avoid netball, and then but especially growing up in the country, it was mainly rugby, cricket. You played all the other sports, AFL and rugby as well, but it was just rugby league and cricket. And I love cricket. I had to choose between cricket and softball basically when I was 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So growing up, like, what was the landscape of ball like for you? Was there, a lot of travel across to Australia, or was it focused around your region? Yeah.
So I was, in a small town, I was sort of 12, and I made the under 16 Queensland team, and they they said to my mum back then, if he wants to make it, he's got to start traveling. Luckily then I was the Duggan family, which is John and Kate Duggan. They were sort of my first real coaches that I had for an extended period of time, and they actually drove me to Brisbane every weekend, which is a 7-hour drive. We'd leave Friday night, I'd come back Sunday night, and it was sort of, back then you couldn't afford to fly every weekend because flights weren't as cheap as they are, or were, I should say.
Right.
So we had to do a lot of traveling. If you're an okay or a good player in the country, you really had to go down and test against Brisbane, which is, there's sort of 4.5 million people in Brisbane. So you had to go down there and test against them. And then and from there, I think I did that for 2 years or 3 years, and then I was lucky enough to go to schooling and play rugby and cricket for a school. But really, I just went down there to play softball. So, yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Right on. So growing up, like, when would you have started playing? Like the league that's down there that you guys? I think would it be? I'm trying to think. Is it the New South Wales League? Like, you know what I mean? Like the
state league.
State league.
Yeah.
When would you have started playing in that?
I was 14 when I started playing.
Wow.
I was 14 when I started playing in the open men's. 14. Yep, I still remember. I caught my first ever tournament.
Oh,
I was catching for a pickup team called Jendowie, and I had a guy called Michael Muller pitching to me. It was pretty cool. He was probably a year or two older than me. And we actually came third. It was it was pretty cool. He was a Queensland pitcher at the time, or a provincial pitcher. And then once I moved to Brisbane, and then it was sort of, I made like the Redlands team, which is quite a good team, like players like Marshall Cronk. And I'm not sure if you guys remember Terry Downs was, he was like Terry's actually 10 years older than myself, but he was in the team, and it sort of took me 2 years to make our top team in Brisbane. And then when I was 16, I made the top team down in Brisbane, which was pretty cool.
Wow. That must have been like really good for your development. Yeah,
because they're all my friends now, but I actually they're all my idols. So they're all Australian. Actually, my whole team, I think there was 6 out of the 9 played in the Australian team or in the Australian squad at that time.
Wow.
And they were all between 7 and 10 years older than myself. So it was a bit of a shame when they were retired, because I was sort of by myself.
Yeah.
There was not really many kids came through that at my age. Even when I got into the 20s, there wasn't that many kids came through at my age. In Queensland, there's plenty more in Canberra with Andrew, Kirkpatrick and Goolagong and Tanner. But in Queensland, a lot of them missed out on the junior Australian team, and they all actually quit in one big hit.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So it was a bit of a shame, because Queensland had quite a lot of good young players.
Yeah, that's kind of sucks. Actually, speaking of the Australian national junior team, 2001, how special was that for you at 17 years of age to be named to the team?
Yeah. I think I was second year. So that was, for me, just being a country boy, I sort of didn't really know that you had to apply for all these teams and stuff like that. And it was a bit of a setback, because I was making all these men's teams, and I went to Brisbane, and I actually didn't get picked in my last year to make the provincial team under 16. And that's when I made, and then the player got injured and they put me in the team. And then I made the Australian squad. And then obviously from there the following year made the Australian junior team. And it was pretty special because, number one, never done it before. Number two, obviously representing your country in anything's amazing. But I sort of, there's a lot of, in Australia, being from the country, there's a lot of like country pride, to be honest. And a lot of city kids, they get better looked at, but they get more opportunity for sure back then.
Right.
So it was pretty special.
No doubt. How cool was it to win the world championships in your own backyard? Yeah. That was,
Softball Australia did a lot for us back then. It was really good. The development was great. We get to play in all the men's tournaments leading in. So when we actually got to the junior tournament, it actually felt, I'm not going to say any game's easy,
right,
but it didn't feel as challenging, because we were playing against all the provincial men's teams leading into the tournament. And then, the pitching went actually about, what do you guys call it, 6 miles slower. Yeah, about 10K slower.
Oh, yeah.
leading into the tournament, and then to win undefeated, to win the backyard, it was pretty cool. And a lot of the old, not even the old Australian senior players, but even all the current senior players were there to watch us do it, and that's cool. That was pretty special.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah,
jeez, I think that was the one ISC was in.
Yep.
2001. Yeah, guy that plays with us here. He was on Team Canada that was down there at that time.
We had a lot of fun with Team Canada actually after the tournament. Yeah,
I bet.
No doubt.
Yeah, we I mean, Canadians are always good to have fun with, especially after tournaments. But yeah, we were in their room and swapping uniforms. I remember sitting at Rudy Hill RSL and we're swapping uniforms and just having a good time.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to jump to your first ISC appearance in 2004 with Victoria. First, how did you end up with them?
It was 2004 World Series was in for Australia was in New Zealand, and that was my first world, like ISF or WBSC, whatever they call it now. And Bob Baird was with the Canadian team at the time. And he was also with, now I've had a mind blank. Jared Martin, they all used to play on that team.
You can just make it up. It's fine.
Yeah. But there was a team, Doc Simmons was the coach. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but Bob had said, we'll try and get you into our team. And anyway, I think they won the 2004 the ISCs, they won it. And then he said, the coach doesn't think you're old enough to be in our team. And I said, okay. So I went and played with Victoria Travellers. And to be honest, the year before I travelled to Victoria with the Australian men's team. And it was a lot of fun. It was great ball. And the crowd knew it, and I don't know. They just they contacted me, said, you're a young kid, and they said, we're the 9th ranked team in the world, and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. So, that stage, I think I was 21 or something like that, not yet, just 20, and Mum goes, all right, here's your ticket, off you go.
Thanks, Mum.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. And I was playing with some like Kevin Bobrovsky and some Colin McKenzie and some really good players, Harvey Stevenson, and it really taught me a lot. That team was amazing. I mean, we were probably a little bit unsuccessful that year, but that was 2004. I'll never forget the Travellers.
How was the that first tournament for you? Was it like a pretty big eye opener for you, like as far as how it was set up?
Yep. Obviously, it was the biggest thing I've ever seen, or biggest thing I've ever done. And then getting just to see the big boys from everywhere. The Jared Martins, the Thomas McKeers, the Gerard Muslers, Darren Box. These are guys that I played against them like at the ISF, but I was actually in the beer tank talking to them. And it just blew my mind. And I just watched softball, from the first game, and then played my game, and then just kept watching softball until the last game every night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I literally didn't, that World Series, I remember watching a foul ball. Mark Sorensen hit a foul ball. I think it was about 30 feet foul, and they called it fair. And
wow.
And I never forget it. I just remember everything about that tournament was, I watched the final game, watched everything, and it was, and it was a great location, so it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So 2006, you'd win your first ISC World Title with the County Materials. How special was that first one for you?
It was really good. I got to obviously come over. I wasn't by myself. I was with the 4 other Aussies. Gooley, Kirkpatrick or Cheese, and Chris Kiefel, and they were with County the year before, and there was sort of an opening there, a little bit of right field, a little bit of outfield, and a little bit of bench time. And I sort of took the opportunity just so I could play with the boys.
Yeah.
You guys had a crazy good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. I think we lost 2 games the whole summer. I think I think we played 53 and we won 51. It was, that team, I remember we were losing, by 4. And then we hit, I think, at a Aurelia tournament, I think we hit 7 home runs in a row. That was probably my biggest learning year of any softball. I don't want to say his name just in case he does listen to this, but I got told I was the worst fielder he's ever seen.
Jeez.
And he goes, "You're lucky you can hit because you're the worst fielder." So he got he made me do a lot of fielding practice. Let's just say that. And he was a player, so it was pretty cool. And he was one of my idols, and he's a great center fielder. So I listened to him, and he'd been around forever, and even now we still joke about it, and we still talk about it. So I'll never forget the day you said this to me. So,
well, I mean, that's something to take advice from. I mean, geez,
exactly.
Geez, I got to work on my fielding. What?
Yeah,
constructive criticism.
Yeah, no, he was good, and the whole team. I mean, it was just one of those times. It was a 2006. 24, 25 years of age, and it was. You sort of you couldn't even have a big head in saying you're a good ball player because you've got guys that are 3 times as good as you on your team.
Yeah, that's right.
And just sitting with Jared Martin, and I remember I just remember sitting in his room just talking hitting.
Wow, that'd be awesome.
And he said, "Yep, this guy's going to strike me out every." I remember Jazz saying to me, "He's going to strike me out probably 4 or 5 times this year." But when we get to the final, he's going to throw the first pitch right there. And sure enough, first pitch in the final, he hit it out.
Yeah.
And as a young kid, I thought, well, and Joe sort of taught me a lot about hitting and setting up pitches, and and now I'm lucky. I do it a lot. But listening to someone who played that high stature and that quality for so many years, it was really just an eye-opener. And not to mention, obviously, the guys like Chris Keeple, one of the first, most successful Australians to come over here. He taught us a lot too. And, and then I get to play with, a guy that I just won the Junior World Series with, Cheesy, and Gooley and I are just, we've always been great mates. So it's been so good.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you remember this? Do you remember the celebration, or is it the memory to a few drinks?
It was pretty cool playing for that Sonotag family. I do remember Timmy walking into the bar and just buying the fridge. And they'd actually closed the bar, and obviously back then, I mean, even now, I think finishes pretty late most nights,
Yeah.
So he just walked in the bar, they were closed, and Tim just went in, just said, "Mate, and we were obviously in Canada, and he just said, I'll buy the fridge." And Tim just said, "All right, boys, you can drink until the fridge is empty." So, yeah.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So what led to the move to the farm the following season?
Well, County, they had, I think they were around for like 21 years or something like that, and they won the 2, and I think, I don't know the ins and outs because I was quite young back then, but County, I thought they were at that stage where they'd won it. They'd spent, a good chunk of time and good chunk of money trying to win it, and they won it back to back. And I think they just had enough. So then I was sort of in the beer tent, and one of my favorite players in the world, Rob Gray.
Okay, yeah,
comes up to me and just says, "I want you to play on our team next year." And I said, "Oh, well, I've got to see what County are doing first." And then when I found out they'd folded, I got the Viking Rod Peterson on the phone at 2:00 in the morning because Rod was always really bad at timing phone calls. And he said, "This is Rod Peterson from the Farm Tavern." I said, "Yes, I know exactly who you are." And he goes, "Good, because I don't know who you are." And he goes, "But Rob Gray tells me you can hit a softball, so and you're young." He said, "Would you like to join the Farm Tavern?" I said, "Yes, I would." Obviously watching them, getting beaten by them a lot. Obviously County, we had some good battles with Farm as well with County.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it was basically they released a lot of players in 2007, and Rod wanted to go a lot younger. So he recruited. Obviously, they already had Donny Hale and they already had guys like Abbott and Grazer, but they got Jason Hill, myself, Goolagong. And I mean, just with those three, I don't think Rod's ever seen three guys that young in his team ever before.
Right.
So, we kept him quite young and quite agile. The farm was a good move. I mean, I was there for 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, sorry, 7, 8, 9.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that team just clicked. I don't know if we had the best players in the world at that time, but we definitely had a tight team. We all went after the games, we all went and ate together. We all went and celebrated after the games together. You had to wear your jacket. You had to fold your collar up in the bar. Like, there was all these pretty cool rules.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd always stay in the cheapest Rod Stars or Road Stars accommodation, because Rod always said, "You're ball players, you don't need nice accommodation." But while playing, obviously, I was once again playing with some great players and getting to play with Gooley again. And but I think, to be honest, that team was just it was a tight team. But Rod also taught you a lot, actually, when you were playing for his team. I was just starting business and stuff, and he was always about educating and save your pennies, dollars will come. You would hear that 20 times a day. But yeah, that 2007 was obviously, and then we got to win it, which was pretty special. And I do remember that night, actually, after we won that one.
That's good. I was going to ask you what number was Hilly in the rotation for that team, because he's a world-class pitcher from what we hear on this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, Jason, I love Jason Hill and his stories. They're really good. I did see Jason on the hill, but I think he was after Rod Peterson, actually, when he was pitching. But he did get on there a few times. But
Love that.
That's awesome. Actually, when you brought up about Robbie Gray talking to him in the beer tent, I wonder how many deals actually get done in the beer tent at a world championship like that, like for the following year.
Back then, I think most of them, to be really honest.
Yeah.
I think things have changed now a little bit, because more teams have got managers and recruiters and stuff like that who are actually on the teams to do it now. Whereas, back then, especially with the Farm Tavern, the older players like Abbott and the more experienced, I should call them, Abbott and Grazer, they did all the recruiting for Rod.
Right.
So. Yeah, back then, definitely, I think. Or if you got knocked out of a tournament early, and you're sitting around waiting to speak to someone.
Right.
Yeah.
But now obviously everything's changed. It's so easy to travel, and yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. So I want to jump over the Aussie Steelers here for a bit. First, what was it like when you first found out that you'd be representing the country for the, at the men's level for the first time?
Yeah, to be honest, Cheese and I actually made it we got selected from when we were with the junior team.
Oh, wow, okay.
We played in the senior men's nationals, and we got selected from when we were playing with the junior team. Now,
jeez,
I didn't even know I could get selected. And then Cheese had a pretty good tournament, and I had a pretty good tournament. So, it was special. Though at the same time, the Australian team was going through a big change. Once again, they were getting rid of all the older experienced and older players, I should say, in Australia, because they were getting quite old. And when I found out, I think I went and trained for 4 weeks every day, because I just, once again, being all my idols in Australia playing, getting to look up to them, Keefel, Terry Downs, Shane King just retired the year before, Peter Clout, this some really, really influential ball players, especially in the Australian domestic, environment. So, yeah, it was special. Unfortunately, I got injured and I didn't make the first tour because I broke my arm. But then obviously back then we used to have a lot more tours, so I got straight back on the tour in 2001, which was pretty cool. Yeah.
I got to ask you about 2009 because I mean that was a big win. ISF World Championships in Canada here. Maybe walk us through that event and the feeling you had becoming a world champion.
Yeah, well, to be honest, it gives me goosebumps now. To be really honest, I mean that team was together for a good 10 or 11 years. From 8 or 9 years. But there's probably 4 or 5 guys there before us, and we changed the culture in 2001. And then became third in 2004, which Australia became 12th in 2000 or something. So Bob Harrow was the hardest coach I've ever had in my life, but also probably one of the most influential. And he ran us like you've never seen. There was no, if he said it's going to be this letter number T and you did S, you're gone. So we were very close. So we traveled a lot. And then we did a tour a month before, which is, the Australian, home in Canada, which is obviously Melbourne and Ontario. We played, I forget how many games we played, but we already had about 6 or 7 of us over here in the core team playing in the ISC and sort of in a few top teams. And it just clicked. I remember unfortunately, once again, I hurt my quad going into the tournament. I had about a week off before. I came back the day before and played, and I felt good. And I just thought to myself right then and there, it's going to take something special for us to lose this. Because I'd sort of sat back and watched for a week or so.
Right.
And we got in, we had a few good wins. We lost to Canada. I remember that. But I was going to say back then they were a stacked team, but even now they're a stacked team. But
careful.
Back then, like we had guys just smashing the ball, Abbott and all the boys. But we get to the semi-final. Obviously, Adam was in his prime. Adam's had a big prime, which he's been fortunate to have. And I think the year before they brought out a rule about Adam about jumping or something. He completely changed it and he dragged, and he wasn't jumping. And and then I thought we got lucky in the semi-final to beat the Kiwis. Obviously, I remember the score because these were guys that I looked up to. They were legends of the game. Most of us were 25, 26. And I thought we got very lucky in that game. I thought, this could be a once-off. And then after the game, when we were sort of walking to the field, I remember saying to one of the boys, I said, I think we can do this. I really do. Everyone still thought the Kiwis were going to beat us in the final. And then, it's easy it's not easy because their pitches are, still had Heine Shannon. They still had some good throwers on the mound, but, Adam throws a perfect game or a no-hitter.
That was crazy.
And then when you got someone on the mound holding that sort of caliber hitting line up to zero, our bunting and slapping back then and our 2-strike adjustments that Bob Harrow used to make us do and all of this little stuff he had us doing, it actually just all clicked. And yes, it was special, but it was, to be honest, 8 hard years because Bob Harrow is obviously one of the best coaches, I think, but he just worked us and worked us and worked us. And if you didn't follow what Bob said, you didn't hang around very long. So it was special because there was 8 or 9 of us or 10 of us that had been there for a good 8 or 9 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, any good celebration stories from her?
He was always digging.
I love the celebration stories.
Well, there was I don't know if we hired a nightclub that night or like a bar, but we had a bar to ourselves, and a few of the Canadian boys come. Actually, a few of the Kiwi boys come, which was pretty cool as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
That we played with. Yeah. And we had a big following back then because we were all probably still younger, and all the parents and some of the boys back then were married and stuff like that. So it was a really, really good feeling. The next day, all I remember was I had to travel with my roommate. He didn't pack a bag. He just got onto a plane.
That's trouble.
And we had to get back to Madison, Wisconsin, which is Gooley and myself. And I remember we landed in Toronto, I think, from Saskatoon, and there was no flight. So I don't know how this happened. We ended up in, I forget the town, but it's out near Kitchener somewhere. And we just walked around the airport, and some guy goes, "Oh, you guys lost?" I said, "Yeah, we are. We need to get to near Kitchener." And he goes, "All right, $250." And we just said yes straight away. I've never been that scared in my life. This guy was going 220 kilometers, so it's about 170, 180 miles the whole way.
Jesus.
Sure enough, we got on our plane. We got back to Madison. I think I slept for 3 days because yeah.
Oh, you must have been going to Hamilton.
Yeah, it was Hamilton actually. Yeah, you're
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was Hamilton, and so. Jeff and I didn't sleep for basically 2.5 days from obviously when we won until the Monday. So
wow.
Yeah, we got back to Madison, and obviously one of our teammates and one of the greats of the game, Donnie Hale, was there with his wife, and I said, "Donnie, I need to sleep for just 1 or 2 hours." He's like, "No, we need to celebrate." So yeah.
Oh wow,
it was quite So it was a fun one.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's like you said about some of the Canadians and some of the Kiwis being there. That's the great thing about softball, I find, is that, on the field, you're going hard at each other, you want to win. But as soon as you get off the field and crack that beer, everybody's friends.
Yeah. And it's, you can travel anywhere in the world, and you can do that now. It's so good. Play in New Zealand, you make friends over there. Play in Canada, you make friends there. And, they're friends for life. You can not see each other for a year, but it feels like you spoke to them yesterday, which is great.
Yeah, that's neat. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
New York Gremlins. How did the association with them begin?
I was with Horman Twins for a couple of years, 14, 15. And then we didn't have a very good, successful one in 15. I think we came 15th or something like that. And we were ranked second.
Oh, wow.
And I think Jim was having a break from the game. That's what I sort of gathered. Yeah. And I remember I was in the beer tent, and one of my good friends, he's always been a helping hand, Andrew Kirkpatrick, comes up to me and goes, "Don't do anything stupid in the beer tent. Gremlins want to speak to you." And I said, okay. And I said, "I'm only here for today anyway," because I flew out early. I met my wife in Vegas. So, but Greg rang me. Then we got on. It was easy because once again, Gooley was there and Cheese was there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, I knew a lot of the boys already. They were losing a few of the guys. So, I said I was interested because I sort of was at that stage in my career. I just wanted to play with my friends. And then, we had a few of, the Canadians, Avery and stuff like that, who I've always really got along with and had a lot of good times with. So I thought, well, yeah, okay. And it just fit good. That was 2016. That's now 21, and it's just crazy. That team, I think we won ASAs 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
We kept coming third for like 16, 17. I think we came third at ISCs.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask you about that. Like, a lot of people say, you have to go through adversity before you can get to the top. Do you feel that, those 2 years were a big learning lesson for that group?
Yeah. Yep. And I think it was for the organization also. We talk a lot about it now, about getting the exact right fit. Like, I think, they had some phenomenal ball players before I was there. And a few of them had left before I got there. But they just said they had to get the right fit. And, back then, Hill United was dominating. Adam was dominating. Everyone says that we we had to get Adam hitters. Well, I disagree with that. I just think we got the right gel.
Yeah.
Especially, obviously 18, 19 were pretty good years. Even this year was a very good year.
Yeah.
The Greg Leather and Varm and the sponsors and the organisation, they just know how to build a team. And if you don't fit, you just don't fit, which is great. And that team, we don't have that one guy that doesn't, sort of stand out. We don't. Everyone's just together. Yeah. So
it must have been fun to win back-to-backs with that group of guys.
Yeah. 18 was very special. We got through. I think that was when what was his name? Godoy. Godoy. I think he beat Hill or something like that. He had a very good year, and so it gave us an opportunity to obviously have a go. And the boys just turned it on, especially towards the end of the week. The hitters just turned it on, and Cheese was fresh, and they just, once again, it's one of those, to win an ISCs, I think you need everything to click.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, it did click. 18 was special. 19 was crazy. 19 was just one of those years. We didn't start very good in the season. And a few of the boys will say that we didn't start very good. The bats just weren't working as well. Luckily, Cheese and our pitchers keep us in the game, but then ISCs, the boys, and ASAs and ISCs, the boys just smashed the ball. Excuse me, and it just clicked. 19 was a fun one, especially to win it back in Wisconsin. Obviously playing in Wisconsin for so long personally.
Yeah.
And having a lot of people I knew around Wisconsin. It was a good one. And 19 was a special year especially for us. I mean, we lost Rod Peterson, passed away in 19.
Right.
And I called it at the ASAs that week. I said, we're going to win it for Viking here. And I remember speaking to Gooley about it over the phone. So it was a good one.
How surprised were you didn't have to face Hill United in either one of those finals? Because I mean, that's pretty crazy, especially with the team ahead.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it's always good not to face them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they've got Adam pitching or they've got Pablo pitching or they've got Devo pitching or they've got a few of the other guys pitching they've got now.
Jason Hill.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Just ask him.
I was. If I ever have to face Hilly on the mound, I'll probably have to see him in Masters now, I think. But it's they are such a quality ball team, and it's good not seeing them ever. But and it just shows you the standard now of these young kids coming through, especially the Argentinians and a lot of the Spanish ball players.
Mm-hmm.
It's they're challenging all the big teams now. So even to face young Marta in the final, I played with his brother with County, 10 years apart, 12 years apart, and actually 13 years apart, and he was having the year of his life. Like, he could have quite easily beat us, but luckily the boys, Ben and Oka started. I think he hit a home run early in the game, and really opened it up. But it's as you guys know, it's to win an ISCs at any year, any level. Everything has to go your way.
100%.
Yeah. So,
like Bradley not grabbing home runs going over the fence.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to say, you guys had a fantastic summer this year.
Unbelievable.
Winning ASAs and then just coming up short in the finals to Hill United. But like Hopey just said, safe to say we can blame Bradley Ezekiel for that.
yeah. Bradley. I love Bradley. I mean, he's a phenomenal ball player. Great guy. And to be honest, couldn't happen to a better bloke. But I think he robbed us. Someone said 7 runs or something like that. But, it is what it is.
That's right.
We didn't have our best game. Even we were losing 3-0 the game before, and we came back to beat them.
Right.
Final, we were losing 3-0. We came back to lead 4-3. We made a couple of plays that we'd probably never make. I remember one ball sailing past my head at right field. I mean, I couldn't even see the ball. It's that dark out there. But or maybe it's just my old eyes. I'm not sure. But they had everything go with them. They had everything go for them. They're phenomenal ball players. Good things happen. Good times for them. And Bradley having a phenomenal time with the bat and the glove. But you don't often see it. You don't often see something like that so special. So congratulations, obviously, to him and their team.
Yes, of course.
And we were upset. Of course, we were upset because we had such a great year. Like once again, losing to them in ASA, we're losing 4-0. We come back to beat them 7-5 or something like that. We took a lot of positives out of it. I know the boys have spoke a lot. I feel actually Jenna Christensen just retired yesterday or today.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm sure Greg Leather and the management will replace and look at how we could improve. To make that that feeling go away next year, hopefully.
Yeah. Greg mentioned that there was going to be somebody who named to the team on the podcast here a few weeks ago, but I haven't seen anything officially yet. So wait for that.
To be honest, I don't really know. I'm sure they'll get. We probably need a replacement shortstop. I know that.
He dropped a pretty good clue on here of who it was.
Yeah, I think we know who it is, but
I'm pretty sure I do too, boys, but I can't really say.
Yeah, exactly. But so
he was a guest on our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
And it's not Jason Hill.
No.
I was going to say it's not Hilly.
Anyways, and with thing we like to end the podcast with, player association. I'm gonna throw out some names to you, and you can say as much or a little about them as you want. First one, Adam Folkert.
A gamer. Yeah. Played with him, played against him. He just keeps getting older and better, and he's just a gamer. He'll give him the ball, he'll throw as hard as he can.
Right on. Next is a friend of ours here on the show, Nicky Shales.
Boy can hit. The boy can hit. Shalesy. Well, to be honest, I haven't been that close with Shalesy ever, just because we played a few world tournaments and stuff together, but that's about it. He lives over. I think he's Aussie Canadian or something now, isn't he? He just had a great career. He started, like all of us down in the lower teams, and just come through. And I think he's got the best ISC record you can get now with ISC hitting. Or he's at the top. So good on him. He's sacrificed a lot, moved over to Canada, and played a lot of ball. So good on him.
Absolutely. Michael Tanner.
I still think he's the best leadoff in the game. I've never seen anyone lead off and hit so many home runs. He's one of the funniest guys you've ever met. He's one of my best friends too. But he can. He's just funny. There's never a moment. He's not very good at table tennis. That's all. I can beat him at table tennis.
That's always good to have something on. Something on somebody. Yeah. Next is Jeff Goolagong.
Goolie, he's my roommate. He's my roommate for about 5 years. If Goolie is just, he can play anywhere, he can do anything. He's never got a bad word to say about anyone. And I've never heard anyone say anything bad about him, but there's many a times where I've gone to the bar and basically I've left the bar by myself, and the next morning I have to come back and pick up Jeff's wallet and his phone because he's left them there and just walked home. So
that's awesome.
I think he's got a little bit more older and more mature now.
That's awesome. And we'll end her off with Cheese, Andrew Kirkpatrick.
Yeah, it's a tough one. He's my best mate. It's been pretty special playing with that guy. We got close at, I started playing for his club team, which is now my club team in Australia, when I was 15. I was traveling down and playing as kids in the men's tournament with him. I don't know. I'm going to say it. I don't think there's ever been a better player. And I don't think there will be a better pitcher hitter for a long time. Including Hilly. Hilly can't pitch and hit. So, you can ask 1,000 people. The guy was a groomsman. He was one of my best men at my wedding. And we've traveled the world together.
Yeah.
We've sort of done everything together. And the guy could do anything. He could have played professional football in Australia.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, not many people know how good he is at AFL, Australian football, but he can play golf, he can play tennis. He's just one of those natural freaks.
Yeah.
And with his head on his shoulders, and I love the bloke. He's amazing.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Yeah.
He was pleasure to have on here for sure.
He's one of my favorites for sure too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's next level. There's nothing better.
No. Anyways, Zenon, we got to thank you for coming on, man. This is you've been a big part of the sport. Not only in Australia, but across North America, the world. All over. And for you to come on and take time out of your schedule, I know you're anxious to get back home, and I'm just happy you were able to come on for us.
Boys, I appreciate it, and anything to basically grow the game. It's as we know, the sport's dying, and stuff like what you guys are doing and Hilly and Lally are doing, and obviously there's some exciting times to come with softball, hopefully. So I appreciate having me on, and anytime, boys. Have a good day. Thank you.
All right, pal.
Take care. Enjoy hugging your kids.
Yeah, safe travels back home.
Thanks very much, boys. Have a good day.
All right, take care, Zenon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Man.
Yeah.
Good talk there.
Good talk.
It's funny. Oh, one thing I want to say when he was talking, remember he brought up Doc Simmons?
Yeah.
Broken bow.
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, I went blank for a second too. I was like, man, I couldn't. And then I was like, as about 10 minutes after, I was like, freaking broken bow, Jesus.
Yeah. And then he said Darren Box and Gerald Musler. So come on.
Exactly.
Randy.
Come on, man. And then when he was talking about Gooley there having to go back and get his wallet and keys, the story I was telling you before I come on, I was listening to Hilly and Hilly and Lolly's podcast there with that Abby did with them, and Hilly 2 years in a row getting Lolly's bag out of the beer tent.
That's awesome. I love that shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so great to talk to Zenon. Great guy.
Man.
Great
career
guy
so far.
Yeah.
He's still going hard too.
Exactly. So it's going to be happy for him to get home soon, see his family. And
I'm so envious of these people that we interview.
I know.
Isn't it amazing?
It's awesome.
Yeah. Get to travel the world, playing the game you love, best game on earth, making friends everywhere.
Exactly.
So very lucky. And they're also humble.
Yeah.
It's been great.
I know.
It's been a great ride, Randy. I quit.
All right, man. See you later. But, so anyway, I guess we might be talking to me next, I guess.
I think I'm putting the plan together. It might be back at the camp, so there might be a few beers involved. But we'll have to see.
Okay, for anybody that's going to be listening to the podcast about my illustrious career in the game, it's not much. I beat Kitchener in 2009.
Which everybody's heard 9,000 times.
But I also worked as a cook at Smitty's. So.
Fuck off. You're ruining it for me.
Anyway, we're going to... I guess we're going to be talking to me, but I'm also going to be talking to another Australian after that.
Yeah.
Gabby Plains, pitcher extraordinaire, University of Washington, pitcher of the year, NCAA.
Not too bad.
Man, she was at the Olympics with Team Australia, and she's been on my radar to talk to ever since we started this, because
that's wicked.
I follow her. I like, as a pitcher myself, I've followed her since she's gone to Washington.
Right.
She's like a phenom pitcher, and I really
sounds like you like her, Randy.
I can't wait to talk to her. I really can't wait to talk to her. So that's going to be fun. But anyway, again,
thanks everyone
for tuning in.
Keep listening. Support the game.
Exactly. That's the main thing. Push the game.
All right.
Hopey.
Take care, brother.
Have a great week.
You as well.
You better quit while you're ahead. That's what I said. Or you're better off dead.
I told ya.
Yeah.
I did.
Better quit while you're
Now,
ahead.
a lot of MCs walking with no knees. They persistent with fucking with me. I'm just that real laid back, chill back, smoking them trees. But yo, I turn into some African bees. If they fucking with me. I'm unmatched, unpassing, sway back up on them blocks, rocking MCM hats, just spitting at these people like I'm swinging a bat at Scarborough Village where the village was at. All them girls in them boom shots where they wanted it at. Yo, I ain't bragging, I'm just spitting the facts, no exaggeration. No gripping on my balls for charm, a Big Mac with no lettuce and sauce. Now my collarbone is filled with scars and got stripes down the arm, got class in the cut, pull the pin up the bomb, brother. Yo, so let them horns blow. We're repping it here because you all asked for it. So yo,
That's what I said.
I told ya,
You're better off dead.
I told ya. Yeah.
You better quit while you're ahead. That's what I said. Or you're better off dead. You better quit while you're ahead.
I ain't going nowhere, I got my people in here. We still got it after all the smoke
Now speaking
clears.
mathematically, there's no comparing to my strategy. Trying to measure up, I appreciate the flattery, but half of these rappers are half of a beat backwards, claiming they on point, man.
Check the stats
I
first.
dropped 12 albums with at least 12 songs in the last 12 years. Do the math right there. That's 144 on a 1 a month average, and that don't even count what I produce for other rappers. Done 5 tours with 20 shows or more, and that's only dating back to 2004. Let's not forget the other years that don't apply to. Now name another rapper touring Canada like I do. I know I am on the top of this, and I know I have many accomplices. If the numbers add up, you can't get rid of me. So kid, know your past, your future will be history. Yeah.
That's what I said. Or you're better off dead. You better quit while you're ahead.
Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again.